Peace, peace, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Brother Minister Ali, and today we're going to explain how to use your nonprofit status. This is not how to get a nonprofit. This is for those of you that have your nonprofit, and naturally, you want to simplify some of the 250,000 IRS tax codes that's on the books and focus on the stuff that really is relevant to you as a small nonprofit. Usually it's not those that have over 100 members or staff members, millions of dollars and things of that nature there. But if you're just trying to build your charitable organization, do charitable work in your community, dealing with diseases, spirituality, nutrition, education, job training, placements, rehabilitations, or just basically trying to help people to help themselves. Okay, so before we begin, whenever I do our nonprofit brochures, I always make sure that we open up with our nonprofit disclaimer. The nonprofit disclaimer basically explains any of the materials or teachings are compiled and shared to help you to help yourself. They are for educational purposes only. Neither the business advisor, Alif, nor anyone in the not-for-profit, your not-for-profit, your LLC, my not-for-profits, my LLCs, what have you, presented are members of the actual IRS. So I'm not claiming to be a member of the IRS. I don't work for the government. I never worked for the government, never will work for the government. I work for the people. So I want to help you to help yourself. All right. So one of the most, to me, I want to give you I would say the three most important documents in your nonprofit. Let me pull that out real quick. It's really three of them that'll guide you for 10 to 100 years. All right. Hold it. Yeah, okay. These are the three. It's technically four, because the first one has what you call an amendment or a clarification, but I'll get into that. It's something that you probably won't necessarily ever use, but just in case. All right. The first one is how to process a house or car donation with IRS Form 8283. In the brochure, what we do is we make the beautiful high glossy cover with your name, your nonprofit name, your nonprofit logo, designs, and address and contact, your IRS number on it, and things of that nature there. And in the brochure, we give you sample IRS forms that's going to be relevant to your nonprofit. Now, the beauty of it is they're already filled out. I personally take and fill them all out for you. So I'll give you examples like, say, your nonprofit, your number, your name, your address, your phone number, whatever. And so donated a house to you. How do you get the money for that house? Here's how. I fill it out. The house was appraised within 90 days. It was valued at, say, $200,000. I fill out the form, put the information all in there, and using the sample, you could look at that and just simply take the blank form and make a copy of it and fill it out for your client. So if the client donated a truck, it was a car that wasn't running no more. Now, I mean, that car, according to the IRS code, you could get them $500 for it. So you give them a written acknowledgement to be like, all right, the car don't even work. We just selling it as scrap metal, junk, whatever. We got $500 for it. But you could get a written acknowledgement for it. depending on the circumstances, of course. Now, I mean, if the car was brand new and you went to a car dealer, he's like, look, we got this nonprofit. We got the supermarket is willing to donate some fruits and vegetables. We want people to have some healthier food. We're trying to get America to go vegan. Just using this for example, every nonprofit has its own aims or mission statement. And they donate, they say, okay, well, what we could do is, they like, our fruits and vegetables, we rotate it every 9 days. After 9 days, it still look beautiful and fresh, but the shelf life is perishing. So we bring in brand new fruit and we got to get rid of those. So we give it to food banks, we donate it to nonprofits, whatever. They be like, okay, they donate 500 pounds of fruits. You getting cases of bananas and avocados and pineapples, peaches, tomatoes, onions, whatever. You get all these cases of food dropped at the house or at your nonprofit from the supermarket. Now your thing is, okay, I got a ton of food out here. It's summertime. I can't let this stuff sit around forever. I need a truck. So what you do, you go to the truck dealer. Excuse me, sir. My name is so-and-so and so-and-so. I'd like to speak to you about donating a new or used truck to our nonprofit. You get the full value of the truck if it's new or used. We use kbb.com or kellysbluebook.com or .org if it's a nonprofit, .gov if it's a government agency, .ed if it's an educational facility, what have you. Now, I mean, so you basically use Kelly's Blue Book. Kelly's Blue Book is recognized by the IRS. It's all kind of blue books. To keep it simple, stick with Kelly Blue Book. You go on your phone, you go on your laptop, you go on your tablet, what have you, your personal computer, your PC, and you go to KBB and you say, okay, the truck has 50,000 miles on it, is this brand, is this model, whatever. And you say, okay, Kelly's Blue Book say, okay, that truck is worth, say, $40,000. Cool. You take your IRS papers that I give you in your book, and you simply make a copy and you fill out the name of the car dealer that's giving you the car, and you put your information on there and what's the value of the written acknowledgement. In this case, Kelly's Blue Book say the car worth $40,000. You give them a written acknowledgement for $40,000. You fill out the IRS form 8283, and they be like, how did they donated the truck, whatever, and the IRS give them their $40,000, or say they owe the IRS $100,000 in taxes. The IRS will tell them, look, since you donated the truck to the nonprofit, you don't have to pay us the $100,000, but you still owe us $60,000 because you only gave the nonprofit one truck. See, if a car dealer is smart, they give you 2 trucks. I mean, they would have wrote off $80,000. They give you 3 trucks. They would have, in this particular scenario, they would have wrote off $120,000. They owed the IRS $100,000. They wouldn't have to pay the IRS nothing, and the IRS would have sent them a U.S. Treasury check with the Statue of Liberty on it that says payable to your truck company for $20,000. They would have got $20,000 tax write-off. Now, I mean, so that's in a nutshell how it basically operates. So how to process a house or car donation with the IRS form 8283 is for my clients only, but I'm just giving it to y'all for free. Basically, you take and use that IRS form 8283. If you're a client of mine and you find a car dealer or real estate agent, because you are a client of mine, basically all you do is email me at ministalif@gmail.com. I give you a call. We take and come up with a plan of action, and basically I'll do it for you for free. I'll walk you through the process, so you won't even have to worry about it. So if you get a house donated from on Zillow, Redfin, you go on the app, you take your phone, go and download the Zillow app. Millions of houses. I mean, they like the Walmart houses. You got houses for sale by owner, whatever. New, used, burnt down. If it's a farmland, a yacht, a helicopter, a truck, a car, a motorcycle, some toys, some food, whatever it is, all you do is just send me an email, be like, look, bro, Mr. I just got this donation, boo, bang, but I need your help in processing this to make sure I get it. I'll come in there and either give you advice or I'll just basically do it for you. You know what I mean? So that's the importance of that IRS Form 8283. 8283 is your way of letting the IRS know I'm not cheating, I'm not lying, I'm not guessing. The IRS don't like exaggerations. My thing is to keep it simple. And you always want to keep it simple. To keep it simple, somebody donated a house, you have to get that house appraised, all right? The appraisal cannot be older than 90 days, okay? That's 3 months. So whether you paid for it or they paid for it, if it was already appraised, whatever, when the appraiser says this house is worth this amount and you get a copy of that appraisal, verified, yeah, it's really, let's use a ballpark figure. Say the house is worth $200,000. If the appraiser said the house is worth $200,000 4 months ago, you cannot use that. You have to get the house appraised again. But the appraiser said the house is worth $200,000 and it only been 89 days, that appraisal is good enough for the IRS. You just take and get a copy of that appraisal, you fill out that IRS Form 8283 and you process that, and that person that donated the house gets that $200,000. Your nonprofit gets the deed, the title, the keys, what have you, to the car, the house, the farmland, the truck, the helicopter, the yacht, the equipment, the tractor, the toys, the winter coats, the boots, the sneakers, the sports equipment, the food, the spring waters, the jewelry, whatever it is that someone donated to your nonprofit is tax exempt. The only real issue is you have to prove that it's worth the money that you're telling the IRS that they can write off or that they should receive for that donated gift to your nonprofit. Now, this is the little caveat, the addendum, I would say, to the 82. The 8283 is really all you need, but there are special circumstances where you're going to need the 8282. Do not confuse the 8282 form with the 8283. This one has a 3. Uno, dos, tres. Uno, dos. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding. Knowledge, wisdom. 2, 3. All right. So there's a little minute difference, and you don't want to file the wrong form. It really wouldn't be a problem, but the reason that would hurt you and your charity is it'll delay you getting your money. It'll delay them getting their money. It'll delay you getting your property or whatever the case may be. So you want to do it right the first time around. So the short version, you use the IRS Form 8282. Let me give you a brief. I'm gonna give you a brief example why you would need that. Say somebody donated a $200,000 house to your nonprofit. You gave them IRS Form 8283 completed and a written acknowledgement for $200,000. The IRS sends them a check for $200,000. They're happy. They're happy because they're able to help you to help the community. Common unity. Promote common unity in the community. So they send you all the paperwork. So the property is now in the name of your nonprofit. It's not your personal, it's your company's nonprofit. You could use it as a headquarters, as a homeless shelter, a daycare, whatever you want to do with it. That's your business out, depending on your IRS mission statement, bylaws, and corporate board minutes and things of that nature there. What is that you do? Now, I mean, you have places like the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, SEPTA. I mean, SEPTA produces free and affordable transportation. Senior citizens can ride for free on the bus, ride for free on the trolley, ride for free on the subway. Now, I mean, you know, children under a certain age gets discounts. And I mean, people with disabilities could get discounts. You can bring your help dog onto the public transportation. They'll fold the chairs up for people that has disabilities, handicaps, and wheelchairs and things like that. But SEPTA is a 501c3 non-stock nonprofit. All right. So if a corporation donated something to your charitable organization, you want to make sure that they get their tax deduction, but you want to do it in a way that's what the IRS considers the FMV. FMV is important for you to remember because it stands for fair market value. Meaning you don't say, oh, this house is nice, I'm gonna give you a written acknowledgement for $1 million, and the house is only worth $200,000. You can have, somebody could donate a Rolls Royce to you, but it has 200,000 miles on it. It has a new engine, an old engine. The Rolls Royce engine was taken out and another engine placed in it. The seats and interior was gutted, and you got some cheap car interiors put in there. And you took the Rolls Royce tires off and put some used junkyard tires on there. So now the person that donated the Rolls Royce and somebody else donated a motorcycle. Now the person who donated the motorcycle was owned by, hypothetically, I'm just using this for example, hypothetically speaking, say the motorcycle was owned by Elvis Presley. The IRS thing is, we really don't care what it is. We want to know, what is the FMV, what is the fair market value? You'd be like, oh, this motorcycle was driven by Elvis Presley. The motorcycle is worth $1 million. The Rolls Royce was restructured. The Rolls Royce is worth $1,000. Okay, so just because it's a Benz or just because it's something fancy don't mean anything. Now I mean, you don't get the name brand stuff. Now I mean, you get the FMV or fair market value. If you go to the store and Foot Locker or one of the shoe stores donate 100 pair of sneakers to your basketball league, and they be like, you don't say, oh, I went to Foot Locker and the Nike Air Jordans cost $200 a pair. Now I mean, so I gave them a written acknowledgement for $200. No, that's not the FMV. That's not the fair market value. That's the retail price. The IRS is like, what's the real price? How much did the store pay for those sneakers? You like, they brand new Air Jordans. Yes, they're selling them for $200, but how much did they pay for them? Probably like $50, all right? So the IRS thing is, if they donate the sneaks to your nonprofit and it costs them $50 a pair, you only get them a written acknowledgement for the amount that they paid. So they give you a pair of Air Jordans that sell for $200 retail, you can only give them a receipt for $50. All right, that's how that works. Now I mean, you know, so the fair market value, you want to know what is the wholesale price? What is the Kelly's Blue Book price for a yacht or a motorcycle or a car or a vehicle? What is the professional license appraisals value of the house, the apartment building, the duplex, the farmland, the lot, or whatever real estate that they donated? And as long as you keep it legal and in that vein, you should not have any real problems. You know what I mean? So, once again, the recap. IRS Form 8283, you use this for any donations that come to your I recommend you get, a lot of people don't do it unless it's $500, real estate for $5,000. No, my thing is, if somebody give you a candy bar, you give them a receipt. You give them a written acknowledgement. Make a record of it, and you keep that record for 3 years, all right? You go down to Home Depot, Lowe's, get you a plastic bin, and you go down to the dollar store, Dollar Tree, Walmart, whatever, know what I mean? And you go down to post office if you have to. You get you some folders or some blank envelopes. And on the front, you just write that particular donation. If it came from, I'm just using something hypothetical. Say the toy store donated $1,000 worth of toys for Christmas or something. You write on there the name of that toy store, that address, phone number, whatever, and a year. And you give them a written acknowledgement. If they give you $1,000 worth of stuff, and that's the fair market value, you give them a receipt for $1,000. You make a receipt for yourself, and you keep a copy of that IRS form 8283, that IRS form 8282, and that written acknowledgement in that folder for 3 years before getting rid of it. My personal recommendation: never throw your records away. Keep them your entire life. Even though you don't need them after 3 years. The IRS thing is, if they don't say nothing to you in 3 years, you good. It makes no difference. Keep them forever, all right? Now, back to that IRS form 8282 for clarification, because I did want to make the distinction between the two. The 8283 is for your receipts for your nonprofit. 8282 is also a receipt, but the simplest way I can explain this one is like this. Let's say somebody donated a house to you, and the house is worth $200,000. You gave them that written acknowledgement and filled out 8283, and the IRS like, okay, yeah, they recognized by the IRS this person did donate the property. It was legally owned, and that they had the authority to donate it. Everything looks good. The appraiser said it's worth $200,000 within a month of the donation. Easy case. IRS approves that. Sends the check off, $200,000. The donor gets the $200,000. The donee, you who owns the nonprofit, you get the keys and the deed to the property. You now have a $200,000 beautiful farm, lot, house, apartment building, whatever. After 3 months of getting the house, you see that the bills is kind of tight. Now, I mean, you don't have enough cash money in the nonprofit bank account, but you got this beautiful house that somebody donated. So your thing is, after 4 months, you want to sell a house. Now, you can sell a house as long as you file IRS form 8282. Why? The donor donated the house to you. I'm just using for example. Say the donor's like, yeah, I had a beautiful daughter. She became homeless. She was strung out on drugs. She got caught up in the street life, and she OD'd and died in the street. So I wanted to do something in memory of her. So I want to donate this $200,000 house to your nonprofit, since y'all help homeless people with drug addictions. Cool. Now, if you sell the property, you're changing your original purpose, because now they like, oh, I wouldn't have donated it to you if I know you was going to take the money and open up a supermarket. I mean, so to be fair to everybody involved, you want to be fair to the donor, so you send the donor a copy of IRS form 8282 saying, listen, that $200,000 house that you donated, you got your $200,000. We got the house. It's no problems. Beautiful house. However, after having a meeting with the board of directors, we don't have enough cash money. So what we decided to do is sell that property. The property value went up. It's now worth $220,000. So we found a buyer that's buying it as is, straight out, full price. So we're going to take the $220,000 check when we sell the property and put that check, not in my personal checking account, but in the name of the nonprofit's checking account. So now we got $220,000 in our nonprofit account. Our intent is to use some of that money to buy maybe 2 small houses, fix them up, flip them, use it to help homeless people. We want to get some trucks so that we can transport out food for the homeless people. We want to do some advertising. We need to buy some more equipment, some paint to fix the properties up. As long as the money is being used in accordance with your nonprofit, it's perfectly legal, no problems. But out of respect and legally, you just want to let them know that gave you the property, why you sold that property. IRS Form 8282 for you. You want the government to know. I'm not trying to be slick or nothing. I'm not trying to flim-flam or double deal. I'm selling the property because I need the money for my nonprofit. Here's IRS Form 8282 to the IRS. And you keep a copy of that IRS Form 8282 for your records. So that's how the IRS Form 8282 basically operates. If somebody donates something to you and you plan to sell it or give it away or anything of that nature, do something other than what it was donated for, within 3 years. After 3 years, it's nobody's business. You ain't got to tell the IRS or you got to tell the donor. You could just do it. But if you do it within 3 years, you're legally obligated to let them know this is what we did, this is why we did it. Sometimes you can't do it because the donor can make a stipulation. Like I'm just using, for example, say somebody donated a new wing to Girls High School and they donated the wing dedicated to educating American females, all right? You can't take that wing and turn it into a church. You can't take that wing and turn it into a cafeteria. The purpose of the donation was to help educate girls who are considered natural citizens of the United States of America. So if the donor gives you some stipulations, if you will, with the donation, you have to honor and respect their wishes. Now, that's not etched in stone. You can contact them in writing and ask them, can you modify it and change? You be like, look, if we build the school, we ain't gonna have no money for books. Maybe you'll donate some money to pay for the books, or build the library, or we could take and turn half of it into a cafeteria and half of it into a library. And we got 3 offices in there where we help process girls' college tuitions to make sure they go to college after they leave high school. Person be like, oh, y'all go ahead and do it. That's whatever's in it. You know what I mean? I don't have no problem with that. So you had them sign just a little one piece of paper, explain that they don't have no stipulations or they changed the stipulations. But you'll see all that stuff on IRS Forms 8283 and IRS Form 8282. So 8282 is basically if you sell a property or use the property for something else within 3 years. All right. Now, the third, no, I would say those two is technically one. IRS Form 8283 and 8282, I basically consider them the same, all right? This is just how to process the donated property. So that's, to me, is your most important IRS document. The second most important document is how to issue a written acknowledgement receipt, all right, for tax purposes. Short version. The IRS does not tell you how to make a written acknowledgement. There is no one way. There are thousands of ways, different ways. My recommendation is to try to keep stuff simple. Go to the Dollar Tree, Walmart, go on Amazon, whatever, and simply get $1 or $2 receipt book. And use that for you can get them made. I remember about 30 years ago we had some made. They was beautiful. They looked like checks, but we had it. They were structured where it's like the name of the nonprofit was already on it, like a check, and whoever we was sending the receipt to or giving the receipt to, you had a line for them like a check. You put their name, their address, or the name of the company and address on there, and the purpose of it, and how much the written acknowledgement was for. Now, say I'm just using to simplify. Say it was $100. You're giving them $100 because they gave you $100 in cash. All right, you're giving them a receipt for the $100 in cash. When you on the check, on the written acknowledgement, it'll be a box that says cash. You check cash and write $100. And you get them a copy of that and you keep a copy. Now, say they didn't give you cash. Say they gave you the $100, swiped it in your phone. Say they swiped it in a phone using a Square, a PayPal, a turnkey system. You know how you go in the supermarket, they swipe your credit cards. Those are turnkey systems. Say you had a vending table set up, you was in a park, a hotel, doing a conference at a ballroom, whatever way you operating. And if they paid you by check, you would check, it'd be a box for check or money orders. They paid you by debit or credit card. You check that box, debit or was it credit? Now I mean, and if it was cash, you do it cash. If it was other, maybe they gave you gold coins, some diamonds, who knows? You know what I mean? But whatever it is, you want to give them a written acknowledgement. The written acknowledgement is more like, this is just your receipt. Know what I mean? Like your IRS form 8283 is like your actual, you would say like a check processing thing through the IRS where they get their money, but you still want to issue a written acknowledgement to anybody. If I don't care if they give you $1, I would give them a written acknowledgement. Now I mean, you know, you may even make some free labels with their names on it, give a little pen and pad. You know what I mean? You could get the your nonprofit. This is an example right here. You can have your nonprofit name on a regular ink pen, coffee mug, whatever. As long as the value is not high. I would not go over $10. Some people, religious people, may donate a Bible or Quran or Torah, whatever. Now I mean, non valuable item. Now I mean, it's just a receipt and a gift, but you don't want it to be like, oh, you donate this, you're gonna get tickets to Disneyland, and you know what I mean, they be like, oh, the tickets cost this, so you cheating on your written acknowledgement. Be like, you do this, we're gonna give you a car or a truck. Now I mean, cheating. I mean, that's racketeering. That'll get you in trouble. Now I mean, you don't want the IRS coming to your house. You don't want them charging you with no money, freezing your accounts and seizing your properties, putting liens on stuff and locking you down, or locking you up for that matter. So the written acknowledgement, I mean, this is just a little sample receipt on here that says donation receipt. You got the date, the receipt number, donated by the street address, city, state, zip code, amount received by the charity, the value of advantage, the eligible amount of gift for tax purposes, description of the donation. You got a part for the charity name, your address, the charity's website, email, the charity's tax ID number, and the authorized signature. It could be the chief executive officer, the chief financial officer, the executive secretary, or anyone that has the authority to sign a receipt according to the bylaws and understanding of the board of members. And at the bottom, thank you for your generosity. We appreciate your support. So that's just a sample, but there's no one way of actually doing that. We have an actual written acknowledgement that I give to my clients for corporate donations like food, toys, clothing, book bags during school, whatever. All right, so basically, this is a written acknowledgement, the date. Thank you for your donation. IRS Publication 526 allows individuals and or companies to donate, quote, in kind, meaning non-cash property. They might say they donated some toys, they donated some bicycles, they donated some winter hats, some coats for the winter time, some sneakers for the basketball team, some sunglasses, some bars of soap, deodorant, some underwear, t-shirts. They donated some fruits and vegetables, anything you literally can imagine that you can need. Now I mean, like homeless people need all kind of stuff. They don't just need money. They be like, yo, we need some washcloth. I need some clean socks. I need some boots, some sneakers. You know what I mean? I need some reader glasses. You know what I mean? You know, it's like things that may not be important to you have greater value to others. They be like, I'd rather have the glasses than the money, because with the glasses I could at least now I could fill out some forms and get myself out of the homeless situation. I mean, so I'll give you some examples of types of nonprofit donations. On behalf of our nonprofit, we thank you for the following. You just check one. Money donation in amount of whatever, food value, clothing value, toys value, footwear, electronics, coats, spring water, some tools, cleaning supplies, cooking utensils, school items, books, or other. So this could be a house, a motorcycle, a truck, barber equipment, bleach, electronics, iPhones, whatever. You know what I mean? This written acknowledgement is issued to the donor for tax purposes in accord with IRS rules and regulations. And you put the name of your nonprofit, the name of your chief executive officer, employee identification number, or your EIN number, the address of your nonprofit, your phone number, your FMV, or your fair market value of the donation, the nonprofit authorized signature, and as well as the date that you sent out this written acknowledgement. So you would simply get this to the store or to the person that made the donation, and you would make a copy of this and just keep it on file for 3 years. All right. So those are, let me backtrack for a minute. So to recap, we said IRS Form 8283 and 8282. Use this for donated real estate, artwork, jewelry, cars, vehicles, yachts, land, what have you. And use this if you sell that item within 3 years. All right. So that's pardon me. That's the most important nonprofit form that you should look over and read. That you could download that form 8283 for free on irs.gov/F8283. F meaning form 8283. All right. How to issue the written acknowledgement. The IRS don't have written acknowledgement forms, but I just showed you one. You can make your own. You can need help, you can email me at ministerleaf@gmail.com. Or you can write to us at the NAAL Institute, NAAL Institute Incorporated, P.O. Box 1143, Exton. That's P.O. Box 1143, Exton, EXTON, PA 19341. If I remember, I put a link somewhere in here. All right. The third most important one is how to make itemized deductions. Now, I want to keep this one simple also. When you work or do your taxes or anything of that nature there, most people take what's called the standard deduction. All right. Now, the IRS can change the standard deduction. Now, I mean, you know, like the Fed raised the interest rates, whatever, inflation, it'd be all types of variables involved with that. Long story short, in 2023, I did some people's taxes this year, personal taxes, and the standard deduction was pretty good to me. In fact, it's only 2 people that I did not take the standard deduction with. You know what I mean? The standard deduction was like almost $13,000, $12,000 something dollars. So if you donated $10,000 worth of, say you donated a car for $10,000, now I mean, you don't want to take the standard deduction if you got an LLC, for example, a limited liability company. I'm not talking about a nonprofit. Say you had to get your advertising, you had to pay the phone bill, gas is deductible. Like, how many miles did you drive for your nonprofit or your for-profit LLC? Now, I mean, you can deduct the gas money. If you had to get business repairs, if you had to wear uniform, I mean, if you have a choir in your church, the choir robes are tax deductible. All right, they pay for their robes. If the ushers got to wear their little nice bow ties and shirts, the fruit wear them, the Boy Scouts, whatever. Now, I mean, whatever you're doing, uniforms are deductible. Just the shoes for you. If you're working on a construction site, you need your hard hat. You need steel-toe boots. Now, I mean, they be like, these boots cost $250. That's a tax right at tax time. But it may not be in your best interest financially to itemize your deduction. Usually it's not. I say most people, in my humble recommendation, I would say most people should take the standard deduction, or whatever the IRS tell you on the left-hand side is this year's standard deduction. It's $12,000. Now, you can play with that. You could say, let me see how much would I owe or not owe or get back if I took the standardized deduction, the $12,000 and something dollars. All right. And they say, okay, if you did the standard deduction, you owe $406. You'd be like, I could pay that, but let me see what would happen if I itemize my deductions. And when you itemize your deductions, you'd be like, oh, because I had to travel back and forth from New York, every time I stopped at the fast food restaurants and had to take my client to dinner, meals are 50% tax deductible, okay? When I had to pay all them tolls, I was going in my pocket paying cash every other week in a 52-week year. So I paid like $300 in out-of-pocket fees. So when you itemize the deduction, now you like, oh, instead of me owing $400, I get back $169. Okay, so in that situation, I'd be like, no, you don't want to take the standard deduction. You want to itemize your deduction. But for big corporations, big companies, now I mean, you know, like if they donate in houses and farmland and bushels of peaches and crates of clothing and stuff like that, they're bulk items. It's usually in their best interest to itemize their deduction. All right, and in the book, we fill out the itemized deduction form. That's the Schedule A 1040. And basically, we put your information on there, your nonprofit and your address, show you basically how to fill it out and just give you a sample. Like, okay, say somebody donated some used laptops. You got 10 brand new iPhones from the iPhone store. You got 6 Nintendos donated, and somebody gave you $1,800 in cash. So we would itemize that deduction on that itemized deduction form, and that saves money. Now, I mean, sometimes it won't save money depending on how much was actually donated. But you as the donor, you're the one that can make that itemized deduction. One of the benefits that our clients get is I actually fill this out for them for individual situations. So again, all you do is just email me at ministeralif@gmail.com. I take care of that for you for free. All right. The other chapter in the book is the Sample Nonprofit Board of Directors Guide. Now, this is just a sample. What does a corporate board of directors do? The executives who head departments, responsible for running the business, the overall responsibility for the activities of the organization. All this is just a sample from the balance. All right. Long story short, what happens usually with small nonprofits is people get their state license, their charter from the Secretary of State that they live in the United States of America. Then they get their IRS recognition, and they get their E number. The IRS recognizes them as a 501c3 non-stock nonprofit charitable organization. They do charity, education, science, health, whatever, but just the nonprofit type of things that they do. And what happens is, say it's like a family business. So now you got, say, the husband and wife, the boyfriend and girlfriend, the mother and daughter, the father and son and daughter, the homies, whatever. So your board may be just you, or you and 3 other people, or maybe it's 20 of y'all. You know what I mean? Makes no difference. But the thing about it is, usually one person is doing all the work. You know what I mean? And usually they're doing it for free. They're not being paid. You know what I mean? And because it's one person doing all the work, a lot of stuff they don't really understand. They have good ideas. They have good intentions, ambitions. And when they try certain stuff, it be working, but then they run out of gas and steam and they never finish it. So the stuff just sit there. You know what I mean? They be like, oh man, I was doing this grant. And I mean, but it's like, so the board, the minutes of the board and the board of directors guide, it helps prevent the stagnation of your nonprofit. I mean, if it's just you, I mean, you know, less is more. Like, say you simply be like, okay, on the 15th of every month, I'm going to just mail out 10 grants. That's it. That's all I do with my nonprofit. Be like, on the 30th of every month, on the 1st of every month, for example, I'm going to send out 5 emails asking for donations of whatever. Know what I mean? Be like, on the 30th of every month, I take one piece of paper, like this, you take one piece of paper and like, say, you have a solicitation letter basically saying like, look, we would like to hold a Safe Streets meeting next month in such and such public park. We need donations of ice, trash cans, hamburgers, hot dogs, vegetarian items, whatever. Now I mean, and the thing is, you'd be like, you get a little DJ or something, playing some music, but the people's able to come out and they got some free food, some good lectures. You invite different schools of thought to come in and speak for a few minutes, you know what I mean? And just have a little positive get together in the community. All right. So using your board of directors guide, it'll help you keep your nonprofit active. Now I mean, you'd be like, okay, this person is responsible for getting the website. That's it. You just handle the website. Or if you're doing it yourself, you'd be like, okay, once a month, I got to pay the website bill. It's going to be like $25, $40. So I pay that bill and make sure the website stays up. Or I'll go on Google and hook up a website or something like that there. Be like, building business credit. Be like, all right, my wife is the CFO, the chief financial officer, or the treasurer. Her job is to make money. I mean, be like, okay, baby, this is what I need you to do, Quinn. You, once a month, you make sure our Dun & Bradstreet profiles, our S&B, our Sam's number, our credit report. We order some from Uline or Quill. We get some toilet paper, some Bounty, some Clorox wipes, whatever. We spend like $53 in cleaning supplies to these stores that's going to report to the credit reporting agencies like Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, so that our paydex score, our business credit grows. So your thing is like, with the nonprofit, your credit score, you want that credit score to be what they call an 80 or more paydex score. You personally, you would have good credit. Say your credit score is over 700, like 720. You have good credit as an individual. Your business can't get 720. The highest a company can get is 100. So perfect credit for your nonprofit would be a 100 paydex score. Good business credit would be an 80. So, if you have a nonprofit or for-profit, this could do the same thing with an LLC, just differently. I mean, but say you got an 80 paydex score for your company. What you do is you take, and I'm just using this for example because it's simple and fast and easy. Say you got an 80 paydex score for the business because you was buying stuff for $53 for like the past 90 days. The score says, okay, your paydex score is an 80 or 90. Cool. Now you go online, say you go to CapitalOne.com, and you be like, okay, I want to file for Spark card, Spark credit card, business credit card. I don't want a personal credit. I want a Spark business card. Now, everybody tell you, all the experts will tell you, you don't have to give no guarantee. And that's true. I'm saying it's easier to give the guarantee. It's simpler, faster, more effective if you simply back up your company. If you show them like, okay, I got okay credit, I got decent credit, and I'm saying I'm gonna back up my company. Now they say, okay, you got a 680 personal credit score, and you're saying that you're backing up this 80 nonprofit paydex business credit score. So what they'll do is send you in the mail a Spark green and silver credit card saying, call and activate it, or go online and activate it. You just call and activate it. They be like, your card is now activated. Your company, your nonprofit now has $10,000 on this Spark card because you backed it up. All right. Now, you never spend over a third of that money. So basically your thing is like, okay, with the $10,000 business, I got to use the card to keep credit growing. So this month I'm going to still buy my stuff from Quill or whatever, but I'm not going to spend more than $3,000 a month. And I'm never going to pay my bills on time. I'm going to always pay my bills early. If your bill is due on the 5th of the month, pay that bill on the 3rd of the month. If you owe them $118, you pay $120. You want them, that matrix, that computer to say, oh, the nonprofit don't owe us. We owe the nonprofit. What does that do? Within 90 more days, it puts your business in the position to say, oh, I can now order the business Savior card and get $10,000, or the Business Inc. card and get $10,000, or get the American Express card and get $50,000. And my company now has perfect credit because I never use more than 30 cents off of each dollar. So I keep my business credit growing. I keep my personal credit growing. So now I can get personal credit cards, and I got these business corporate credit cards. Now I'll be like, okay, I got 10 of them with $10,000 each one. I got $100,000 in credit. I could take and get this little raggedy house over here. It's only $50,000. I'm going to take and go to Home Depot. I got my uncle so-and-so. He can paint anything. My nephew know how to fix this. I know how to personally do plumbing, electrical, or little small stuff. And I'm going to pay the professionals to make sure everything right and exact. And I'm going to flip this little property. And even though it's going to mess my credit score up, it's an investment. Because now what I'm doing is I took and rented this property out. And once I fixed it up, I went to the bank and said, listen, the house that I fixed up was appraised. It cost me like $300, $500 to get it appraised. But the appraiser said 2 days ago that the house is worth $140,000. I want to take out a secured loan on that property. And they'd be like, okay, well, how much you trying to get? Be like, I'm trying to get $120,000. Cool. They give you a check because you got good credit, good business credit. No, you good. You got a couple of hours in your savings and your nonprofit doing good. They give you a check for $120,000. You take and pay all your credit card bills off in full. I mean, now your nonprofit still got an extra $10,000 or $20,000 in cash, but since you paid all these credit cards off, every 90 days, you ain't got to talk to a person. You just call the back of that car and talk to the computer. The computer, how can I help you? Be like, would you like press 3 if you want a credit increase? Beep, I want a credit increase. At this time, we're sorry, we cannot approve it. Cool. Scratch that one off. There's 10 on the list. This one denied. 3rd denied. 4th denied. 5th approved. 6th denied. 7th approved. 8th denied. 9th denied. 10th approved. Okay. The card that had 10,000 now that has 15,000. The card that had 10,000 now that has 30,000. This card that had 10,000 now that has 50,000. So now you rinse and keep it going. You invest in something else. You open you up a little business, a store, a hair salon, a barbershop, whatever. You know what I mean? You do your thing. But the thing is, it takes money to make money in a capitalist system. This is just, it's not a perfect system. It's not a righteous system. It's not a wicked system. It's just a system. You know what I mean? It's you get out what you put in. You know what I mean? That's the law of the yin yang, cause and effect, polarity. Now, I mean, the protons, electron, God, devil, righteousness, wickedness. What is your niyat? What is your intention? And as long as you have good intentions, you're going to always prevail. Even when they think you're going to fail, even when they think you're done, you'll pop right back up like that phoenix bird coming out the ashes. Because the universe, God, the creator, that creative force, scientists call it energy. Religious people call it the Father, King of Kings, Jesus, Yahweh, God, the creator. We just say mind. It's mind power. Same thing. The mind is infinite, capable of accomplishing anything that the brain can conceive. Anything you put your mind to, family, you can do it. If it's good or evil, you can do it. All right. It's that you got to have that dominant thought. All right. Now, if you let somebody get in your ear, oh, you shouldn't listen to that stuff, this, that, and the other, it's not going to work. You didn't listen. I mean, you'd be like, oh, I don't think I could do that. I know you can't do that because you think you can't do it. You're like, the man that went to the moon, I think he thought that he could do it. They'd be like, but what if he died? That was all in it. I mean, sometimes you fail. That don't stop you from trying. It shouldn't. I mean, so those are your important IRS stuff. Now, the book goes into, we give you the legal stuff, the mumble jumble stuff too, and that's really there because I tell people what you do is this. The book is like a encyclopedia for a nonprofit. You don't read an encyclopedia, but you do want to breeze through it. You don't read a world almanac, but any information you trying to understand, you look it up. I get the world almanac, you know what I mean, and it's like, say I want to know what's the price of gold. I look up in the gold. Where's Dubai? I could look up the map section. I could look up who won the election back in 1953. I could look up the political stuff. Who was the mayor of my county? Now, I mean, what's the richest rapper in the world? I mean, who sold the most albums in R&B? The information, I mean, knowledge is power, family. You know what I mean? Especially if you know how to utilize it, all right? So the purpose is not just to regurgitate it, but it's to utilize it. So there's things that are being there that I don't understand. You can look up the section on physics. You can look up astronomy, and it's talking about all these planets that they found. You know what I mean? They talk about the stars that collapsed and white dwarfs and Stuff that you'd be like, I'm not a astrophysicist, but just reading, I'm familiar with that. If I wanted to know, so I could look at the experts and get that information. It's the same thing with your nonprofit guide. You take and you go into the IRS's 501c3 instructions, for example. Now, I mean, so in there, it's like all this wealth of information on 501c3s. You'd be like, well, 501c3, what about 501c4? 5, 6, 7. I mean, so it gives you all that information, it explains all that. Know what I mean? This right here section takes you into, it gives you a chart. The IRS Nonprofit Publications Guide. This is just one sample. This is, to me, I would say the most important sample. The IRS Publication 561, okay? Determining the value of donated property. Places like Cars for Kids, the Red Cross, the United Way, you know what I mean? Things of that, the Bill and Melinda Foundation, the Jay-Z and Beyonce Foundation, all those are nonprofit. The Kanye West Foundation, nonprofit. They donate all kind of stuff. But understanding your IRS publications, it'll help you understand how to contact them, how to use the proper forms, how to see samples of the proper language and the proper IRS codes. So you also want the IRS's compliance guidelines. You know what I mean? Somebody say they donated a farm, but on that farm was 8 cows, 3 sheep, and 104 hens. I mean, you got to know how to calculate that. You know what I mean? For those of you that are clients, y'all know I'll just come in and do it for you for free. But we want you to always be able to do it yourself. DIY, do it yourself. All right, do for self, do it yourself. Now, that don't mean I know how to cut my own hair, but I can't cut my hair like a pro. So I cut my hair probably for years. I mean, but if I had a special meeting, a special event, I'm going to somebody's wedding or something, like, I'll let a pro go in and cut my hair. Know what I mean? You know, if you know, I know how to make a video. I mean, but I'm not making a professional video. Know what I mean? But if I was to make a professional video, I would contact my friend, know what I mean, FA, and you know what I mean, he know how to make a professional video. Know what I mean? So it's not how I'm saying, it's what I'm saying to me that's important. So this is why I'm just coming straight from the gut freestyle with you. I could be real artful and fancy if I write out a script and got notes. I'm going, I don't know what I'm going to say next. All this is just me talking. It's all freestyle. Anytime you see me on these videos, it's me really just going free. 9 times out of 10, I'm just going freestyle. I might have a reminder like, oh, make sure I cover the Holy Quran chapter 8, verse 9, the Bible, St. Luke chapter 4, verse 22, whatever. You know what I mean? A subject or whatever the case may be. But I like to speak from the heart. All right. And the IRS donated real estate instructions. A lot of people don't understand the tax credits they would get. Like, you have people, I know people personally that they had properties just sitting around. They got a family or a friend or a stranger squatting in there. Ain't nobody pay the taxes on it, and the stuff just sit there year in and year out, and then eventually the county come in and just take it, just lose the property. You know what I mean? You know, it's like it's easier and faster ways to make a beneficial use of that property. You know what I mean? If you know, a lot of people get spooky, be like, oh, I ain't worried about money. This, you don't have to. You know, when you do your stuff, it's not just for money. I mean, it's just, it takes money to do things. I mean, it's like water is free, but if somebody dig the ground up and lay pipes and pump the water into your house and put it in a heater, and you got hot and cold water coming out your shower, the water company is going to be like, we need to be paid for our service. That's fair. I mean, you could be going out to the creek carrying buckets of water, and every time you got to flush your toilet. But you like the convenience just pulling on a handle and turning on, brushing your teeth. What if you had to get the water, bring it to your house, boil the water, rub sticks together to make a fire, to heat up the water? It's more easy to just turn on some hot water. It's more easy to turn on the hot plate, to turn on the electric stove, the gas stove, the microwave, whatever, the coffee pot. Now, I mean, your Keurig, whatever. That, you know, people around the world appreciates convenience. And the information that I'm presenting and the information that we share with you in this nonprofit guide is for your convenience. Now, I mean, it's not designed where you're supposed to understand or know how to do everything, cross your teeth. Don't worry about that. The simple thing is, I'll worry about that for you. Now, I mean, meaning that since you already got the brochure, my thing is, I'll send you free tips. Like, yo, what you in this city? I'm not in that city, but I could go online and find stuff for you. So I'll be like, look. Now, I mean, not all the time, but at least like maybe once or twice a year, just check up like, yo, how you doing? What's this? Here's a email. Here's a link. Here's a letter. Here's a call. Like, yo, I just hollered at so-and-so. I know you're trying to do this, that, and the other. I got with so-and-so and got you a truck. They want you to go down. I never been in your city, but they saying, come down. You know where the new and used truck lot at on such and such? Yeah, that's like 5 minutes from my house. All right, I already talked to the guy. His name is Mr. So-and-so. He's working today. He said you could come in today. He said he got 3 trucks that he's considering donating. You go down there and check them out. If you like one, you got a truck. Know what I mean? All right, peace. Know what I mean? So no, you ain't got to pay me nothing for that. I mean, that's going to come back from the universe. All right, so I want y'all to know that's how it go. Now, I mean, this is how we help each other. Now, I mean, we help people to help themselves. And remember, family, only the messenger's message will guide you through this age of mess. One love. Peace. Send your questions, comments, and suggestions to ministeralif@gmail.com.